Hello guys, today we are going to learn DSA, data structures and algorithm, and this is my preparation for placement cracking. We all know that the DSA is one of the most important topic to be learned to crack any product based companies. And okay, today is the day one preparation for placement, and today we are going to learn the basic steps of DSA. What are the data structures that are present in the computers and algorithms that we need to learn for crack any product based companies, and the data structures, that what is meant by data structures. First of all, we need to learn about this. The data structures means the particular way of storing and organizing data in the devices or in the memory, anything else in a computer. Let's think about a computer. The way of organizing data and storing the data in the device, the main idea behind using data structures is to minimize the time and space complexity. This is all about data structures. We can simply, if anybody asks about what is meant by data structures, why it is used, we can say that the data structures is the way of storing and organizing your data in a effective and efficiently. The main idea behind using data structures is to minimize the space complexity and time complexity. Space, if they ask what is meant by space complexity, we can say that the space complexity is the the amount of space required to execute successfully the functionality of the code. Suppose if you write any particular code, the amount of space it requires, it whether be a heap memory or dynamic memory, anything, the total space required to execute successfully the functionality of the code is known as space complexity. And the time complexity is the amount of time required to execute the code. It is meant by time complexity. uh, Data structures, these data structures are classified into two types. One is linear data structure and another one is non-linear data structure. Linear data structure means storing the data in a linear manner. uh, Behind the, it will store in a linear manner. Non-linear means it will not store in a non-linear manner, means in linear data structure there are static and dynamic. In static data structure, arrays means static, a fixed memory. Static means. Dynamic means the memory is not allocated, it will expand or decrease by the runtime. We can't say that they are not fixed memory. In a static arrays are stored in a particular linearly, so that we can access it by index. And dynamic data structures, queue, stack, linked list, these are the types. Okay, this is the first day we need to learn about what, that means what are the types and various overview of data structures, not the depth. In every day we are going to learn about a particular arrays, queues, stacks, linked list, trees, graphs, and we need to learn about the basics of algorithms and practice problems on DSA. This is I'm see this is my learning of DSA for cracking the placement and to improve also my communication skills. And see, this is my preparation. I am studying fourth year BTech, so there is no much time left for me to prepare. So I am keeping this as a 3 months preparation. My goal is to prepare DSA and basics of fundamental basics of CS, computer science, and aptitude. In 3 months, this I want to prepare. And today is the day one. We are going to learn about the data structures. Data structures is static data structures, dynamic data structures. In dynamic static, these are the linear data structures. Static data structures, there are arrays. In dynamic data structures, there are linked list, queues, stacks. In non-linear data structures, trees, graphs. What is meant by data structure means data structure is the way of organizing and storing the data in the devices. The main aim to the main idea behind using data structures is to minimize the time complexity and space complexity. The What is meant by algorithm? Algorithms is a set of predefined instructions which is used to solve a particular type of problem. It is now the complete process of learning DSA from scratch. First, we need to learn about complexities, time complexity and space complexity. And next, we need to learn about the individual data structures, and we need to learn the basic algorithms. There are certain algorithms we need to learn before starting the problems to solve on DSA. And we after we learn the problems, then we need to start the DSA problems practicing. Then we need to practice on LeetCode, HackerRank, HackerEd, CodeChef. There are multiple platforms to learn practice DSA. Now, first, complexities. Before we seen that the data structures is used to the idea behind using data structures is to minimize the time complexity and space complexity. So this is the main time complexity and space complexity. Space complexity means the amount of space required to execute successfully the functionality of the code. Suppose we written a code in Python, then we need to know how much space it takes to run the code. Suppose we take an array. No, if we take any for loop array anything, then we need to know how much data it required to run the program. Space complexity means nothing but the amount of space required to execute the program successfully and with all functionalities of the program. Time complexity means the amount of time required to run the program, execute the program. There are three cases. First one is Big O, the worst scenario. If you write a code, the worst scenario that may happen while running the code is calculated with the Big O of n, Big O notation. And Big O notation. Next one is theta. the average case to run the program in all test case scenarios. Next one is omega. Omega is the best case while running the program. Best case while running the program. Now we see that order of one. If a program executed within a constant time, it it treated as the best case, and good case is log n, fair log O of n, bad O of n log n, worst order of n power n factorial, constant power n power constant. These all are worst cases. If we want to execute the DSA problems, that time limit must be, if you do any problem on the DSA, then the time complexity must be below the order of n or order of n. In worst cases, we may also use order of n log n, but in interview process, if a interviewer asks anything about the DSA problem, then you must solve the problem first with brute force approach, and then next we need to explain the brute force approach to the interviewer, and then we need to start solving and optimizing it, and we need to optimize as much as it is. uh, if you write any code is not enough. If we don't have the power of explanation to the interviewer, then if you know how much or anything, that is doesn't matter. You need to have a capacity to explain them. Without explanation you can't do anything. Suppose if any interviewer asks you anything, if you don't communicate well, it doesn't work out. You need to know how to explain the people. That was I am doing this communication. This is my practice platform, and I am practicing this, and I am uploading on YouTube for consistency. If I prepare, I started today, but later on I will not. I will maybe continue or something. Uh, can we do later? That like I want do. So if I upload anything in social media, then I definitely want to prepare. So this might be you think the it is very nonsense, but this is only the communication process and learning process. Because okay, this is all about first day data structures. What are that we will see that briefly about the data structures and steps to solve the DSA. First one, time complexity, space complexity. Everybody should learn it. And if you do any problem, you need to solve in a better manner, optimized way. We should not exceed log O of n. We may there are some sorting algorithms order of n log n must we must solve the order of n log n. Otherwise, the compiler will show time limit exceed. They don't want the worst cases to be executed in the programming language. They need optimize programmer coder. So they prefer only the order of n, unlog n, or log n, or order of 1. Okay, in next video we are going to learn about the basics of individual data structure. First one is array strings. In next we are going to learn about arrays and strings, and in the upcoming videos. Okay, thank you for listening up to last.